Right, how are you all doing? It's a gorgeous day, which is hilarious because technically today is the last day of the Easter holiday. Technically. Right, because my eldest son's school starts back today. My youngest son's school starts back tomorrow. However, neither of them are going back to school. Why? My mum popped round this morning, early hours, not super early hours, but you know, early enough for school run hours, because she'd normally drive my eldest to school, because his school's on the other side of town, and neither the wife or I drive. I have a motorcycle, but I haven't got a valid licence at the moment for reasons. I'll get into that story at some point. I think I have done briefly, but irrelevant. Anyway, Mum says you all need to take a COVID test. Right, okay, I mean we already took one a couple of days ago. We already had one because the wife and I got a cold. When the wife got unwell, she took a COVID test, it was negative. I took a COVID test, I was negative. I went down with a cold that evening, didn't really think anything of it, because we came through negative. See where I'm going here? My mum says that she's not feeling particularly well, feels terrible. My heart sinks. Alright, I'll take a COVID test. We got COVID. Now I know most people, especially at this point, are now going to be saying, so fucking what? Well, if I got COVID, not bothered. If my dad got COVID, mother-in-law, father-in-law, they're grown-ups, they can look after their own shit, you know. My baby boys, they've had COVID, and I was worried about them, bless them. But, you know, they're tough little spuds. But there's two members of my family who can't get COVID. One in particular. Not can't as in immune, never gonna happen, just can't get COVID. My wife has an autoimmune condition. She is always sick to a degree. And my mum has a lung condition. So, when lockdowns first started happening and everyone was QQing about everything, my family were given the old, you must stay inside for 4 months or however long it was. You must stay inside. You must quarantine. You must this, you must that. You mustn't do insert list. And we took it pretty seriously, knowing full well that again my wife has an autoimmune condition and my mother has a lung condition. And so after 2 years, vaccines and all that, I've had 2, the boys have had some of theirs, I can't remember if they've had both. The wife has had 2 or 3. and my mum has had 4. We got it. We've got it. You know, the people who I didn't want to get it have got it, and I'm fucking angry. I'm furious. Actually, a little nervous, to be honest. And just as an example of why I've been so with it. So I know someone's going to say, oh, you're just virtue signaling and you're being a prick, blah, 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 suck my dick and all that kind of stuff. Right, have you ever heard of peak flow? I believe it's something along the lines of how many litres you can in a minute. Something like that. I think it's something like litres, or it's a measurement. Right? Your peak flow, your ability to absorb oxygen, should never, ever go below like 300. Ever. They measure it from, I believe, like, you know, really young until you're in your like 80s, 90s, all right? And if it also varies depending on height, but assuming that you get to like 85 years old and you're a 5-foot woman, you should have no less than 300-ish. You know, around my mum's kind of height, at worst, if she were in her 80s, which she's nowhere fucking near, be no worse than like 350, 360. If my mum nails 200, it's a fucking fantastic day. Usually she tips around the 150 mark. So when we took those tests and they came through COVID positive, the look on her face was not fantastic. Just trying to put a brave one on for the boys, but and as I say, I'm pretty fucking angry. It's not a case of if you get it, it's when you get it, but just... And especially considering my mum has to fight on the regular to get medication she needs to help her with her condition. And that her next checkup to see a specialist in, I believe it's in Cambridge, probably not going to be, unless they can fast track her, until probably January or February of next fucking year. Oh mate, just get fucked. So I've just looked it up. You should score between 400 and 700 litres per minute. And that's all depending, what's good or bad depends entirely on you. Your gender, your age, and your height. For my mum, at her height, at her age, she should score somewhere in the regions of 400 to 450. Like I said, she doesn't get anywhere near that. So I get it. It's been 2 years, it's been miserable. You know, just in my house, even the seasonal flu could be a killer. So just look after yourselves, eh? Stay safe. Yeah, I'm really not trying to virtue signal. I'm really not. I'm just trying to point out why I'm so like about this kind of stuff. I get it. There are tons of reasons why people just, some people just don't give a toss. Thought it was a bit of a joke. Some people are just tired of it. As far as like vaccines and stuff go, and social distancing and masks and all that, some people don't trust their government. They don't trust Big Pharma. Some people are scared to have a vaccine. They don't know what it'll do to them. Some people don't understand how vaccines work. I mean, I remember seeing a clip about a woman in America basically saying exactly what a vaccine is and saying that's why she thinks that's like, no, you can't do that, that's terrible. I said, but that's what she described was exactly what a vaccine is and always has been. But she didn't understand that was the case. And there's some people out there who just can't have certain types of vaccines because, they've got health issues. If you don't want to have a vaccine, you don't have to. If you don't want to wear a mask, you don't have to. I get it. I really, really get it. I mean, there's 1,000,001 reasons as to why you wouldn't trust your gov or Big Pharma and stuff like that. But just remember, it's not always about you. I know it's been a bit of an inconvenience to everyone, but it's not always about you. And I understand that's, being the guy that's going, yeah, but see, if people don't do blah, 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 then my family are at risk. It's not always about me. It's not about me, to be honest with you. But I've just not seen the point in complaining about putting a bit of cloth over your face. I mean, if I have surgery, I would very much appreciate it if the guy or gal cutting me open put a piece of cloth over her face or his face, so when he's coughing, sneezing and gobbing everywhere, he isn't or she isn't spraying it into my wounds or face or whatever. I'm just saying. And again, there are them people too who just don't take it seriously. And I can't criticise people who don't take it seriously because I am the kind of guy who walks around in sarky joke prick t-shirts all the time. I mean, right now, I'm wearing a Stormtroopers of Death, Speak English or Die t-shirt. And fantastic album, by the way. And I think when coronavirus hit, like when all the lockdown started, and was it March 2020, I was rocking around in a coronavirus world tour black metal t-shirt. Just, I'm fine with joking and stuff, just don't be a dick, which I was quite clearly being, but you do you, other people do what they do, just be happy and just, be a bit considerate to folk, no big deal. With that said, I think the next few days are probably just going to be, what is it like to rock around with coronavirus? It's going to be a weird one for me to talk about though, given that I'm double vaccinated and I'm a weird case in that I have some medical conditions that may or may not alter the effects of the virus on me. We'll see, because everyone else seems to be reacting differently to different variants and all that kind of stuff, and what's tolerable to me may not be tolerable to someone else. Example, sore throat makes it really, really difficult to eat at times. That said, I've also got a bit of a lump forming on the side of my throat. Have been for months. No idea what it is. Never know. It might take me with it, but see, I did it again. What an insensitive twat. You can't joke about stuff like that. I can, but seeing as I have, if something bad happens in 5 months, shame on me. Which actually, just speaking about not really taking anything seriously and just being able to poke fun at things, you should be able to have a laugh, as long as you're not putting other people or yourself in danger. It's been a bit of a trick for me eldest boy, because he said to me, "Oh, Dad, you know, if you and Mum die, we'll be orphans." You know, and I was like, "Mate, we ain't gonna die. No chance. I ain't that lucky." It's just not gonna happen, man. I've got better things to do. Yeah, I've had to convince the boys that like everything's okay. It is okay. It is okay. I mean, unless all of a sudden they tank it for the next couple of days, but whatever. My youngest son, on the other hand, completely took it in his stride. In fact, cocky little bastard was laid upstairs in his bed, wearing a mask, almost as if to say, "Unclean!" Started calling his mother germ spreader. I agree. Which is kind of derp coming from him, because he's usually the little bastard that brings the plague into the house. He was the first time. To prove how much of an asshole I am, one of my favourite films of all time is Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. And in that film, there is a song by Beck called Ramona. And in the full version of the song, there's like actual lyrics and stuff like that. But the key part of it in the film is pretty much the majority of the lyrics are just the word Ramona. The name of the character, Ramona. Just over and over and over. Now, I would sing it to you, but I'm a bit hoarse, so I'd rather not. But it just got stuck in my head today, and I found over time, without even thinking about it, I started changing the lyrics from Ramona to Corona. And I've just been singing it throughout the day. I was so angry at the start of the day, but that just lifted my spirits outright. Like I said, I can take the piss out of anything, and I am going to hell for it. But my boys, bless them, have been playing Sea of Thieves, and they've asked me if I will install it and plays it with them tomorrow, and I've said yes. So I'm now installing that. I'm installing it on the old Xbox Series X for the wife, and we'll all just play together as the family. Fun times when you're supposed to be at school. You know that groove? With that said, I'm going to head off. Hope you're well, and I'll see you all with a bit of luck tomorrow.